I feel like I haven't done a book haul in a really long time, and it's mostly because I don't usually buy my books in bulk, and also I find a lot of my books secondhand, and so like I don't, you know, it's just one at a time type of situation, so I never feel like I could really make a book haul. But recently I got a couple of new books for my birthday, and also I've just been pretty lucky with finding a lot of fiction books secondhand. So yeah, I thought I would do a little bit of a book haul and show you all of the new books that I've been acquiring. Now I want to start with the brand new books that I got mostly for my birthday. A lot of them happen to be non-fiction and craft books. So the first one I got from my sister. She sent this to me for my birthday, and it's 101 essays that will change the way you think, and it's by Brianna Weist. I don't know if I'm reading the author name correctly because I don't have my glasses on, but this is a collection of little essays. I want to say that they are more like little articles. I have flipped through this since my birthday a couple of times, and I do really enjoy it. I also didn't realize that this book was actually published by a blog that I used to read. There's this blog called Thought Catalog. I used to read them when I was at uni. I used to want to write for them. I think I submitted a story to them one time, and then it didn't, like, it was posted on their like Facebook, but then they didn't like tag me or something. I don't know, it was a weird situation. But anyway, yeah, when I saw that it was published by Thought Catalog, I was like, ooh, that's pretty cool. But yeah, these are just like essays about life and the way you think and habits and things like that, and I kind of really like those kind of books. I think they're really interesting to read and really helpful. So yeah, that's the first one. The next book I also got for my birthday from my friend, and it's the only fiction one in this sort of brand new birthday stack that I have here, and that's Caraval by Stephanie Garber. As you all know, or maybe you don't, but I really enjoyed the Once Upon a Broken Heart books series by Stephanie Garber, and I didn't realize, well, I think I did realize that it was like it's not really a continuation of this series, but it's like a companion to this series, and I haven't read this one, so I probably should, and yeah, I'm excited to read it. And then after that, my other two friends got me these writing craft books. So I got the Stephen King On Writing memoir, which I've already read and I've already finished, and I really enjoyed it. It's only a little bit of it is his memoir, and then the rest of it is sort of him talking about writing and like giving his own advice, but weaving in his life in between it, sort of thing, which I thought was a really good way of giving writing advice, I guess, because he sort of teaches by example, I guess, which is nice. So that's one that I've already read. And then this one, I've never even actually heard of this book, but it's 27 Essential Principles of Story, and it doesn't just talk about novels, it talks about screenplay and games and movies, and yeah, I don't know what type of craft book this is, but it seems really interesting. The next two writing craft books I've been using a lot in my outlining process. I technically bought this myself, but Andrew's parents gave me a gift card, and I sort of used that gift card to buy these, so technically it's sort of like they bought these for me. So the first one is Romancing the Beat by Gwen Hayes. This is a writing craft beat sheet thing, all about writing romance. And what I really like about this so far, because as you can see, I've tabbed it up real nice. What I really like about this so far is that it doesn't just talk about writing a romance. If you're writing specifically a romance book, it talks about romance plots in general. So even if you're writing like a horror book or a thriller or a fantasy, if you have a romance subplot, you can just use this as well, and I'm finding it really helpful. And then the next one that I got is this The Conflict Thesaurus. This is all about writing conflict into your story. So it talks a lot about like the different types of conflicts that you can write in, and sort of the dynamic of like how to write conflict, whether it's like a small little micro conflicts within relationships, or if it's like a bigger, you know, hero and villain type story arcs. You know, there's a range, and I'm only like, I've only read a little bits and pieces here and there, but I'm finding it pretty helpful so far. Okay, so moving on to my secondhand books. I don't remember where I got some of these from, because they've just sort of been sitting on my bookshelf for a couple of weeks now, because I haven't done this video. The first one that I found secondhand is Brooklyn. I really like the movie adaptation of this book, and I thought I would check out the book, because I think Ariel Bissett from Books Unbound, which is a podcast I listened to, talked about reading this, and she actually really enjoyed it, and if it's anything like the movie, I'm probably going to enjoy it as well. Next, I found Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I was very surprised that I found this secondhand, because I know that this is a really popular book, and it's like really good condition too. Well, I think there's some creasing in the spine, but like, who cares, you know? Like I said, a lot of people talk about this. I've never read it before. I really want to read Circe, but I haven't been able to find that one secondhand, so maybe I'll start with this one. Next is a book that I'm currently in the middle of, and it's The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. I love Christina Lauren. My favorite book by them is The Unhoneymooners, but ever since then I haven't really found another book by them that I absolutely love. Oh, actually, I think I really enjoyed the, oh, what is that called? I don't have a physical copy of it, so I don't remember. It's the one, it's got a pink skyline cover, and it's friends to lovers trope. What is that called? I don't remember what it's called, but I really like that one as well. And so I'm currently reading this one. I'm enjoying it at the moment. I'm only up to chapter 12, but I think it's okay so far. Next, I have a classic. I have The Trumpet Major by Thomas Hardy. I've read 2 other Thomas Hardy books. I enjoyed both of them, but I think like I said in my Tess of the D'Urbervilles review, I like his way of describing scenery and atmosphere, and it's just very like countryside. He's definitely the type of author that like talks a lot about how country living is better than going to the city, especially I think around the time when he was writing and everyone was sort of going into the city and like, you know, yeah, I really like his descriptions of nature basically. Next, I found 2 books by an author that I really want to try out, and that author is Nora Roberts. So I found The Obsession, and I also found Tribute by her. These are both romantic suspense, which is a subgenre that I have never tried. And I was watching, I think it was Books Like Woe, who did this whole Nora Roberts video, and she said that if you want to start with her, start with either of these 2 books. So I was lucky enough to find them secondhand. And then I found An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I remember when this was pretty big on booktube, like 2014 or 15 or something, and all I know about it is that it's like YA fantasy. It's very much inspired by Roman Empire or something. I don't know, I don't read a lot of fantasy, but I just kind of wanted to pick it up. Every time I see a book that was like popular on booktube around the time when I first started, there's something inside me that's just like, oh, maybe I will check it out. So yeah, hopefully it's good. The next book I found I've already read, and that is The It Girl by Ruth Ware. Ruth Ware is another author like Christina Lauren where I really like her books and I like the sound of all her books, but I've actually only really loved one of them, and that was The Turn of the Key. I also enjoyed In a Dark Wood. Like, it was okay, but I could see that that wasn't like a favorite or anything, and so I was a bit skeptical going into this one because I hadn't really liked any of the other ones that I've read by her, because I think I read Death of Mrs. Westaway and I read The Woman in Cabin 10, and I didn't enjoy those 2. But this one, I was happy to find out that I really enjoyed it. This one follows 2 different timelines. So we follow a lady who is pregnant in the beginning of the book, and she works at a bookshop, and we find out that 10 years earlier in the past she went to Oxford University, and there was a murder that happened at this university that she was sort of not involved with, but she was sort of a witness to. It happened to one of her really close friends, and she was sort of not in charge, but because she was the only witness, she felt like she put this man in jail. So in the present time, it's been 10 years, I think, 8 or 10 years, and then she gets a call from one of her friends being like, there are these journalists, there's one in particular who don't think that he was guilty. And so she ends up spiraling because she's like, did I put an innocent man in jail, in prison? And that's kind of what the whole mystery is about, basically. So you flip back and forth between past and present, and you sort of see what happens. I did not see the twist because for the longest time I thought it was so many different people, and then I wasn't expecting the twist to be what it ended up being, and for that I really enjoyed it, because usually I can tell when a twist is coming because I read a lot of thrillers. So yeah, I really like this one. If you are interested, go pick it up. Next up, I have another book by an author that I have never read from, and that is Tidelands by Philippa Gregory. I've always wanted to read Philippa Gregory. I see her books everywhere in secondhand shops, and yeah, I'm interested. I know that she writes a lot of historical fiction. I've dabbled in historical fiction, but I don't read too much of it, so I thought, you know, she would be a perfect author to start getting into that genre. The next book I have here, I was actually very surprised I could find secondhand. I never thought that I would ever see this secondhand, and that is Mexican Gothic. This is one that a lot of people have recommended. It's horror, I think it's horror. It's about, I actually don't know what it's about, but I hear that it's really good, so I'm excited to read this one. Also the font isn't too bad, which is good, so yeah. Okay, so the next few books I have here I only found yesterday. So the first one is The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. This is another thriller. I've read The Guest List by Lucy Foley. Is that how you pronounce her last name? I don't know. I've read The Guest List. I really like it. I have it there on my shelf. And then I also read The Hunting Party, which I also found secondhand. I found The Guest List secondhand as well. And The Hunting Party I didn't really like. I didn't really like the premise. I didn't really like, you know, kind of just the way it panned out kind of thing. But this one seems interesting, so hopefully it's good. I don't really know what it's about. Again, with thrillers, I don't really like to know too much about what the premise is, because I go in them thinking, yeah, I'll figure it out. And then after that we went to, so I found these between like a couple of op shops. I found Fire by Kristen Kashaw. I know that my friend really likes this book. She recommended it to me a long time ago, but I didn't end up reading it. So I think she lent me her copy, and then I didn't end up reading it, so then I gave it back to her. And then ever since then I was like, maybe I should have read that. So I found it secondhand, and it's a bigger copy to what she had, which is good because I can sort of read that font. And yeah, apparently this is like the second book in the Graceling trilogy, but she says that you don't really need to read Graceling to read this one. I don't know how that works. Maybe they just like companion books, but yeah, I'm interested to see this one. And then I also found The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. Apparently this is a new release. I didn't even know this was a book that they came out with. They're pumping the books out very quickly these days. But yeah, this is a Hollywood romance apparently, which I'm not sure. I don't usually like celebrity romances, but I'm willing to try. So yes. And then lastly I found A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I've already got a copy of The Little Princess, and I've already read it and I really enjoyed it and everything, but this one is a hardcover and it's so pretty, and I think this one will match my Little Women copy a lot more than the paperback that I found secondhand, so I'm gonna swap that out. So yeah, that is pretty much all the books that I have welcomed into my life recently. I'm so surprised that I've been able to find a lot of those books secondhand, and so yeah, I wanted to share. Let me know if you've read any of the books that I've mentioned today. Let me know your thoughts on any of them, and yeah, let me know what you're currently reading down in the comments below. Anyway, I hope you're having a great day. Cheers.